One day I'm gonna be everything I wanna be. I don't let it get the most of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be everything I'm gonna be. My future right in front of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be free. Let me be free.
From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges. A host with a fire burning in his soul. With a heart steel and a spirit unbroken. He rides on two wheels ready to claim his throne. Amidst the chaos and the thunderous roar, insane wheels rise as a force to be reckoned with. Fueled by the power that only metal can bestow, he takes his stand, refusing to submit. Insane wheels hear his battle cry. Metal and mayhem will never die. Rituals report and paves his way. Oh, legend in the making, day by day.
And good morning to all of you freaking legends up in the building. Shout out to all of you guys, man. Let's go. Look, Lucy's right there. You can see her walking away right now. So, yes, you guys hit that like button for Lucy, by the way. And big shout out to my man, Virginia Chaos, for a couple of things, actually. Not only does he send in 2 gifted memberships in the very beginning here, and she's going crazy in the back over there, but I got a couple of things, offline donations, and one of them was actually, it wasn't offline. Virginia Chaos sent in $10 yesterday morning, and I had just missed it by a couple of minutes. It's right when I ended the show. And so he sent over $10 on the Cash App saying, overtime, pay for beers, hashtag Virginia Chaos. My man, thank you for the $10. And then I also got my man of Code TV. He sent in $10 on the Cash App as well. Actually last night, and I was not expecting that whatsoever. And it says for brother Mike Ball and channel support, much love, honor, and respect. Wow, man, I'm very honored by all of you guys. So, this morning, as you guys can obviously tell, we're going to be talking about Iran again. I knew this is what was going to happen when this very first story kind of broke. I knew that this was going to happen. So, our week is all-encompassing in Iran. So, we got Sterling Wheel coming in with the 840, by the way. That is 420 doubled, saying one for each hand. Yes, sir. We're ready to go at all times. And then brother Steve Easy coming in for the 26 months. Wow, dude. 2 years and 2 months. IWF strong. Yes, sir, my man. Thank you for that. The longest active member in Insane Wheels. I very much appreciate that, Steve Easy. All right. So all of you legends, great to see you guys in the chat. We got Charles as well as Lappy, Easy Frank. We got Steve Posey as well as Rabbit of Chaos. Virginia Chaos, great to see the Chaoses in the chat. We got Jimmy Mack as well. We got Carrie from Rob's Neighbor. Good morning to you as well. We got Chatting with Stacks coming in, and hopefully you're having a wonderful morning so far. Holy shit. Wow, Sterling just gifted out a humongous banger right there. Wow. 10 gifted memberships, bro, on top of the donation he already sent. That's humongous, bro. So thank you very much. That goes super far, not only helping me, but 10 others in the Insane Wheels family. So I thank you for that. We got brother Straight Jacket coming in with the $5, by the way, saying make it clap, beaches. Great to see you, bro. Thank you for the 5-spot sick, which is actually Straight Jacket. You know what we haven't done properly yet is, well, of course, we're going to talk about what we're doing here. So U.S. sinks Iranian drone carrier as well as Operation Epic Fury to surge, quote unquote, and Iran launches attack. Now, there's actively sirens going on right now in Tel Aviv. for incoming Iranian missiles right now. So that's just a heads up. So we're going to, of course, back up since the last time we spoke, which was yesterday. Yesterday morning is the last time we did any of these talks. And we only streamed for an hour. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of give you guys not a recap, but a lead up to where we are right now. So we're going to start off with Iran Ayatollah calls for Trump and U.S. bloodshed amid war. Then we have Israel orders residents to leave southern Beirut. By the way, that's up there in Lebanon. We got body cam video released in Austin mass shooting, which we believe is to be the sleeper cell situation. The guy was wearing, a property of Allah sweater jacket, and then he also had an Iranian flag on it, so it definitely screamed sleeper cell situation. Then we have breaking news that happened yesterday. Trump removes Kristi Noem as DHS secretary. Holy shit. And of course, we have the new man that's been being named as the new DHS secretary. Senator Mullin is going to be the next man in line for DHS. Then we have U.S. strikes Iranian drone carrier ship amid operation, and we do have that footage, and that footage is actually kind of fucking crazy. And we're going to show that for you guys today as well. World energy markets react as Trump continues Iran strikes. As you guys, I'm sure you guys have felt it already, but you guys have seen and already seen and felt gas prices going up and stuff like that. That's per usual anytime that we're not only at war, quote unquote, but when we are doing anything in the Middle East like that. And then we have another update on the Austin mass shooting. Bar to reopen this week after 19 people were shot. They have this press briefing, and I think that's what this whole thing is about. Then we have Trump that says he wants a role in picking Iran's next leader.
Bruh.
That's not surprising. Then we have Iran fires cluster bombs after U.S. sinks drone ship. Now, the cluster bombs are a little bit different than your normal rocket or missile, I should say. It turns from one missile and then in flight, and then it separates and goes into like 100 different smaller, projectiles or whatever the case is. And they do explode, but they're, anyways, it's a very interesting thing they've developed over there in the Middle East. And then we have Israeli fighter jets destroy the Ayatollah's bunker, the original. I didn't even know that, but we saw that this morning. So it was just being reported as of 2 hours ago, by the way. Then we have Hegseth operation against Iran will surge dramatically as of just an hour ago, by the way. So lots of things going on here. We got to make sure we get to the call to actions real quick before we get into the rest of it. Let me make sure we're all good here. Oh, wow. We got Swashbuckler, by the way, coming in with the membership. I very much appreciate that. Thank you for hanging out with us this morning and becoming a member, man. Make sure you show, if any of you guys got gifted memberships or you signed up, we have members only for every single Saturday morning, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. And make sure you guys show up. We don't talk about any of this shit. We actually try to have a good time, and we try to laugh at, that's what it's all about. But real quick, let's go ahead and get our call to actions real quick. Make sure you guys hit that like button. It helps out the show immensely, and it's free to do so. If you guys are brand new to the channel, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. This is what we do Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, and we do this for an hour, roughly. We've been on overtime a little bit, where we're going over 15, 20 minutes in some cases, but that's some of the overtime. But talking about memberships, please consider becoming a member, starting only at $3.99 a month. We're making sure we're not breaking the bank out there with anybody, but check it out. This is what allows us to not only be on these airways, but also have these lights on. So thank you guys for becoming members and staying members. Little side note here, follow my Instagram at BallValveTV, where I post everything behind the scenes of not only my life, but as well as the show, Millennial Food Time, breaking news, the campaign trail. It's a great way to get a hold of me one-on-one. We also have a Discord server for all of you legends. Go into the video description down below of any live video, it will have the invite link for the Discord. This is where we continue the conversation. And last but not least, all super chats, super stickers, gifted memberships, and membership signups are, of course, all going to be presented live and shouted out onto the show. But if you guys would like to skip that YouTube 30% brutal cut that they take from your hard-earned cash, by the way, we have these platforms scrolling around the screen, and you guys can donate to those. And, of course, I get 100% of the proceeds. And, of course, I'll also read out loud whatever comes our way, just like a super chat, so you guys can get involved and have your voices heard. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, we really got to get right into this. Thank you all for being here, and thank you all for the immense amount of support and love. I really appreciate the backing that I have here from you guys. It's truly an honor. So we're going to get right into this. I'm going to try to catch up with the chat as well as we do this.
The situation they're spreading. Israel launching those
What's up, Pops?
strikes again
So loud?
on Hezbollah in Beirut, Lebanon overnight. You can see the smoke rising once again in that live look on the right-hand side of your screen. And of course, I do want to get to all of the latest information here. Let's pop up some of this video coming in out of CENTCOM.
You know, I haven't actually seen the whole thing where it states that he is to pay those tariffs back. I've heard the talks about it, but I haven't really seen anything to show that that's actually going to happen. Now, I don't know, though. I may be in the dark about that subject. I don't know.
As today does mark day 6 with the U.S. and Israel conducting those continuous strikes on the current Iranian regime and the Iranian Revolutionary Guard strongholds within Tehran. Now, Iranian state television today airing a violent message from Iran's Ayatollah Abdullah Javadi Amali. In that message, the Ayatollah calling for the, quote, shedding of blood from President Trump and Israelis. Again, a very violent message that is now coming in there from the Ayatollah. A short time ago, Iran's Revolutionary Guard says it fired missiles at Israel with a 1-ton warhead on it. The RGC claiming attacks as...
That's a 2,000-pound fucking warhead at the end of an explosive at the end of a missile, essentially.
...well in Bahrain, Kuwait, and the United Arab Emirates. Israel's military also releasing this video here, saying that it carried out a wave...
We already know this part.
...of strikes that began overnight, targeting sites in Tehran that are crucial to Iran's ballistic...
What's up, Seymour Cannabis, my man? Good morning.
...missile deployment and storage. The Israeli military saying it struck Iranian operations who were preparing...
100,000%, Cameron. 100,000%.
...a missile launcher
Good morning.
used against Israeli aircraft, preventing any kind of launch. Now, as we take a live look over the White House here in D.C., later today, the House slated to vote on legislation meant to stop the U.S. war on Iran.
Oh, shit. My man, brother Lee Lance, coming in hot, by the way, sending in $5 on the Cash App, saying much love, honor, and respect, OG. My man, thank you so much for that. Making the shit rain in here. That's Tiffany's husband right there. Very much appreciate the love and support right there. Thank you for that.
But House Speaker Mike Johnson has declared this will not pass. The vote comes a day after the War Powers resolution failed in the Senate by a vote of 47 to 53. There is, of course, a lot to discuss as all of this continues to develop, with updates coming in pretty much on an hourly basis.
Well, but I really haven't heard anything from this whole thing that shows or tells me anything that we don't already know. Here's something from the Israeli Air or Defense Forces. Let me see what it is here.
Their little girls had the same rights a little girl.
Overnight activity, IAF. So from the Israeli Air Force, aircraft struck and dismantled an armed ballistic missile launcher in the area of Qom that was ready to fire at Israel. Interesting.
Have in America.
But is there any video to it? Yes, there is. May not be the same video though.
Yeah,
we'll
we have to stop them. They
no, that's a launcher.
will not stop until we.
So we already saw that video though. So that's nothing else here is something that we're gonna get. That they're just gonna garnish them talking. Okay. Israel orders residents to leave southern Beirut. Now, Beirut is a major city, kind of like the capital of Lebanon, essentially, just a major city over
Now,
there.
as we follow all of the latest developments here, we have been speaking with folks all over the world. And I do want to bring in Elan Levi.
What's up, Beezer, my man? Good morning.
The former Israeli government spokesperson. They are on the ground over in Israel. Elan, as always, thank you so much for taking the time to be here with us.
Pleasure to join you. We had a missile siren about an hour ago, and I hope we'll be able to get through this interview without another one.
And
Well,
as
Tel Aviv is actively going through right now sirens. They're getting Iranian missiles being shot into Israel right now.
I always say, if a
As we
missile
speak.
is overhead firing that way, you have sirens, run.
Oh, I'm out. I'm out.
No, as you should be. And Elan, I wanted to ask you kind of, and you just touched on it, but what the situation has been like on the ground there over the...
Wow. A judge ordered them to pay back $130 billion in tariffs. Wow. I wonder what judge did that.
past 6 days and how it compares to the situation prior to that.
Israelis are beginning to return to normal life. The state of emergency has been relaxed. The gyms are open, restaurants are open, stores are open. Workplaces are allowed to employ people if they can get to a shelter in time. And Israelis are trying to get back to their normal lives as much as possible. In the first few days, the Iranian regime was able to fire many more ballistic missiles at us. They can't now because the joint US-Israeli coalition is bombing those ballistic missile launchers and keeping the whole Middle East safe. That is why we're seeing fewer ballistic missiles. There is tension, there is anxiety. It is very stressful to run to shelter in the middle of the night if you have to run and grab children from bed, or you are elderly or disabled or otherwise vulnerable. But morale here is very high because Iran has not been able to inflict the damage that it wanted. People are dead, buildings have been destroyed, but it hasn't been able to inflict the damage it wanted to.
Yes, sir. What's up, Brother Dean? Over there in Israel right now. And yes, Hezbollah decided to get into a fight that they should have just not gotten themselves involved at all. It's just a bad idea.
Because Israel and the United States together, the two most powerful air forces in the world, as Secretary Hegseth and Secretary Rubio have said, control the skies of Iran, and they're bombing the regime without mercy now.
One thing that's interesting is the IRGC is now claiming that some of the missiles that they're firing there at Israel have 1-ton warheads on them. Is that, in your opinion, what you've seen, just kind of an empty threat? Is that concerning for folks
It's not really an empty threat.
there at all?
No, the Iranian regime is trying to kill as many people as possible. In recent days, it has been firing ballistic missiles with cluster submunitions. I'll explain what that is to people who aren't military experts. It means the missile explodes above ground, mid-air, and shatters into dozens of smaller bombs that will explode when they hit the ground. These weapons are by definition indiscriminate. They are by definition an attempt to kill as many civilians as possible.
You know what's so funny, Steve? I've been over the Middle East since before I even started this YouTube channel. You know what I mean? I'm just going to be honest. So I'm right there with you.
And that is why Israel and the United States are determined to destroy the Iranian regime's ability to wage aggression. So they cannot continue to target our civilians with such indiscriminate attacks.
What is maybe one misconception?
What's up, Dark Soul? Good morning to you. Let's see. I don't care about misconceptions. I don't care about any optics. I don't care about that. I care about facts. Speaking of, we're going to move through that because there's nothing else that we're going to get out of that. All right, so we're going to move over a little bit to the sleeper cell situation regarding the Austin mass shooting. I believe 19 people were killed, actually, or maybe not killed. Let me see if we have the update. 19 people were shot, not necessarily killed. 19 people were shot. There we go. All right, let's go ahead and bring this up. But first, you guys have done very well with the money part. But for the rest of you slackers,
All right, just get the money part done.
Give me money. Money me. Money now. Me a money needing a lot now.
facts.
Denied.
There we go.
Department has had no contacts with this suspect. His only interaction with law enforcement was in 2022, and that was a check welfare in an outside agency. This call was referenced his mental health. As this investigation has progressed, APD has learned of additional victims. APD is now aware of a total of 19 people that have been struck by gunfire. 3 people, including the suspect, were pronounced deceased at the scene. The 2 deceased victims on scene were identified as a loving daughter and a friend, Savitha Sean, 21 years of age, and a loving son and friend.
Man, you missed it, Steve Posey. Right when I opened up the show, she was going crazy with her toy back here, and she was jumping all over in the background. So that's on you, Cuh, for missing it.
Ryder Harrington, 19 years of age. These are 2 people that were dearly loved throughout this community, and that is quite clear. Both young individuals with bright futures ahead of them. On Monday, March 2nd, one of the victims, identified as a loving son and friend.
So 3 people died and 19 people in total were shot.
George Pedersen, 30 years of age, was pronounced deceased, and he had just moved to Austin 2 weeks prior.
Damn, he had just moved to Austin 2 weeks prior to him getting killed. Wow. Crazy. Progressive-ass cities, huh?
At this time, 2 victims remain at local hospitals, with 1 in critical condition. Before we begin showing the material, I want to acknowledge the complexity and the gravity of this scene. This viewing material that you're about to see is difficult to hear, it's difficult to see. We didn't do this for the shock value. This is about being as transparent as we can, and believe me, we had to look through video that was appropriate to release to all of you.
Wow, Virginia Chaos coming in hot on the Cash App, by the way, sends in $15. He says, here's some goddamn money. Happy Friday, and hashtag Virginia Chaos. Well, thank you so much, kind sir. $15 in the Cash App, making it rain and shit. And you did the one yesterday that, of course, that I missed, but I still shouted out this morning, so I didn't miss it completely. So thank you very much for your support, kind sir.
But it was important, again, to understand the events that led up to this officer-involved shooting. Any video showing the suspect firing his pistol into the crowd is too graphic to show, and we will not share that publicly. We will begin
too graphic to show
by listening to 2 911 calls, and as you can imagine, we received numerous calls, 911 calls, which were hard to listen to. And these are the 2 that we're going to be sharing.
We don't need to hear the 911 calls and all that shit. We don't need to do that. Let's get some video footage here.
Walking eastbound on 6th Street toward the officers. This is what that's going to show.
No, I'm definitely not having no horse fund, okay? Let's not get it twisted here. If anything, we are doing a camera fund. I'd like to upgrade this camera, but the upgrade shit, it's honestly very, very expensive. DSLR, video cameras, they're expensive. Some shit's going down. It's about to go down. Oh, no, it is going down. And they shot him right there. Cops just shot him right there. And that's pretty much going to be it until they go approach this guy. I don't know why they're still hiding. This motherfucker's down and out. So, anyways, let's see from the cops' perspective.
Hey, I'm with you. I'm with you. No! Everybody down! 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 Where is he?
People right there. Look at the people right next to the cop, bro. That is crazy. Damn. Yep. Point made there, straight.
Next video is from Officer 2's body-worn camera.
Can't shoot what you
This
can't
is an
see.
officer that was on West Street.
I'm in the ground! Where is it?
We did want to share that viewer discretion is advised. We have
Oh, no kidding.
that advisory up, but we also wanted to let you know that we are very sensitive to this video, so you may see some blurred video should this become too graphic.
You guys are fucking pussies. Relax. Play the fucking video.
Shots fired! Shots fired! The suspect is down! Stop moving! Stop moving! Stop move!
Because you continue to move, you're just gonna get killed.
I'm on the suspect!
I mean, you're already
Move
probably
here
almost
now.
gonna,
I'm
you're
on
probably
the
gonna
street.
die.
Arrest!
Now, they did, I can't remember. I think they actually did kill him. Like, I think that shot, the shots that he did take, I think he did succumb to his injuries.
This concludes the materials that we're going to be showing you today. I want to again recognize the bravery of our officers. You saw that firsthand as they ran into danger to stop this. It is quite clear that they saved multiple lives.
Yeah, that would be badass, Naomi.
And also to the people, the brave people that were around, giving direction on where this guy was. It was everybody was looking to identify him and to stop this threat. So I want to thank again the officers that engaged him, the officers that responded, that started putting tourniquets.
Of course, we all think that, right? Okay, we're moving on. So yesterday, I'm sure that you guys saw this, especially that this is a political show. You guys probably watched social media and probably saw it, or on the mainstream, whatever. Trump removes Kristi Noem as DHS secretary. And we have Senator Mullin, I forget how to say it, whatever, is being named as the new DHS secretary. So, but let's go ahead and bring this up for you guys quickly. Let's go ahead and brace our fuck ups.
Don't beat yourself up over past mistakes. You are going to fuck up again in the future, quite possibly in a most spectacular fashion. Why worry about yesterday's fuck ups when you have tomorrow's fuck ups to look forward to? You are a fuck up, and fucking up is part of your growth process. Embrace the process.
Just embrace it, little homies. It's all good. Here we go.
Welcome back to Live Now from Fox. I'm Stephanie Quinu. We are following some breaking news, a major shakeup within the Department of Homeland Security. And I wanted to pull this social media post up full as Secretary Kristi Noem is now being replaced. Take a look at this. This is from Fox News correspondent Bill Malugin stating breaking news. President Trump announcing that DHS Secretary Kristi Noem is being replaced by Senator Markwayne Mullin, a Republican from Oklahoma, effective March 31st. Wow. So that is from Fox News correspondent Bill,
he actually put, wow.
Malugin. I also wanted to share a social media post from President Trump himself as he took to Truth Social. This is a lengthy post. Bear with us. I did want to read it in its entirety.
I actually have not seen this post, so I'm glad that she brought it up right now.
As we continue to follow the very latest. President Trump writing moments ago, quote,
"What's up, Liquored Up with Poncho? Good morning. Happy Friday.
I am pleased to announce that the highly respected United States Senator from the great state of Oklahoma, Markwayne Mullin, will become the United States Secretary of Homeland Security effective March 31st, 2026. The current Secretary, Kristi Noem, who has served us well and has had numerous and spectacular results, especially on the border, will be moving to be special envoy for the Shield of the Americas, our new security initiative in the Western Hemisphere we are announcing on Saturday in Florida. I thank Kristi for her service at Homeland, serving 10 years in the United States House of Representatives and 3 in the Senate. Markwayne has done a tremendous job representing the wonderful people of Oklahoma, where I won all 7.
Oklahoma? I think she just missaid it. Oklahoma. Yeah, and Kristi Noem is what, from South Dakota? Not from North Dakota, right? She's South Dakota.
77 out of 77 counties in 2016, 2020 and 2024. A MAGA warrior and a former undefeated professional MMA fighter, Mark Wayne
What's up,
truly
Prez?
gets along well with
And Papa Penguin, good morning.
people and knows the wisdom and courage required to advance our America First agenda. As the only Native American in the Senate, Mark Wayne is a fantastic advocate for our incredible tribal communities. Mark Wayne will work tirelessly to keep our border secure, stop migrant crime, murderers and other criminals from illegally entering our country, end the scourge of illegal drugs, and make America safe again. Mark Wayne will make a spectacular Secretary of Homeland Security. Thank you for your attention in this matter.
Shit. All right. So now let's go ahead and we're going to kind of follow up that story here with this and see if we get anything else out of this.
Super excited
It's a very, very quick thing with Mullin.
about it. Humbling. And that's the best way I can say it. Super humbling.
Have you talked to Secretary Noem yet?
This is basically his reaction of being heard that he is being named.
I can say it's super humbling.
Have you
Super humbling, he says. I would assume so.
talked to Secretary Noem yet? Did you
I
have a
haven't.
chance?
I'm actually, well, neither one of us had time to talk, so I'm going to go give her a call in just a second. You know, our families are very close, and this happened very quick, so we're gonna go have a conversation with her in just a second.
Did the president say anything about what he would like you to do in this job that Noem is not?
I will never discuss private conversations. Never have. I'm not gonna.
That's a W for him. That was a great answer. I'm just going to be honest.
Do that now either, but we're super excited about the opportunity, and we're going to, do the best we can. We're going to get Department of Homeland Security making sure that we stay focused on protecting the homeland. And no matter if you support me, you don't support me, I'm going to be laser focused on getting that done.
Senator, I just have a really quick question. What was your first reaction to just the news that you were nominated for this position, just amidst everything that's happening?
Humbling, because I had to call my dad, and because it happened quick, right? I had to call my wife and call my dad both. And it's just, pretty humbling when you start thinking about it. A little kid from Westville, Oklahoma, gets to serve in the president's cabinet. That's pretty neat. So thank you guys.
How did you find out? Via the truth?
Yeah, when does Disney not lie? Naomi.
And I think I just like a really initial question. I mean, there's so many things that's happening.
So that's really it. I mean, he's just walking away now. So, all right. So we've got U.S. strikes Iranian drone carrier. So U.S. strikes Iranian drone carrier ship amid operation. Now, this did happen last night, 14 hours ago. And it was a big deal, actually, because this isn't just a normal ship. This is actually a ship that's designed with a small runway, even for their drones and their drone, them shooting off their drones and stuff like that. So very interesting. Let's go ahead and bring this up and we'll discuss it quickly.
Smoke billows into the sky high above Beirut, Lebanon. We're learning Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth saying those strikes on Iran have intensified. We're getting new video right now of one of those moments that was just noted during that press conference from Tampa, Florida, of this drone ship that was attacked by the U.S. military. Strikes on this drone ship as the Admiral Brad Cooper, the head of Central Command, said Thursday that the U.S. forces had sunk more than 30
Real quick, we got my man Wildcard in the chat. Good morning to you. Great to see you.
Iranian ships, including an Iranian drone carrier ship roughly the size of a World War II aircraft carrier. He said earlier on today, as we speak, it's on fire. And these were the images they are sharing right now. We talked about the Shahed drones that are potentially posing a challenge for some of these U.S. forces in the region, just the low and slow drones that are very difficult to intercept. You can see there, Cooper said this is the first time he joined indirect talks in Oman, appearing in dress uniform, a remainder of the buildup of military might in the region. Hegseth also noted the timeline on Iran is, quote, ours and ours alone to control, saying, quote, we set the tempo, we set the timeline, led by the commander on the ground. And he mentioned the stockpile of U.S. weapons. Hegseth said, our munitions are full up and our will is ironclad. He said, we have only just begun to fight and fight decisively. So this was the video as they were talking about it. This basically happened as that press conference was underway of the United States in cooperation with the Israeli forces striking that ship with a drone on it as they're trying to take out some of these ballistic missile sites, trying to take out these drones before Iran has the opportunity to potentially even use them against U.S. forces in the region or even neighboring countries there in the Gulf.
All right. So we're going to move into a little bit about energy, such as oil. And oil, I'm sure that you guys have felt it, not only seen it, but also have felt it, that gas prices are going up. That's no surprise. Anytime that we're in war, petroleum definitely goes up in price, especially when we're dealing with the Middle East. So let's go and bring that up.
All right, we're continuing to follow it, day number 6. And earlier on, we heard from the U.S. Central Command location in Tampa, Florida, who oversees the Middle East, Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth, talking about the U.S., saying they are solely in control of the timeline of activities in Iran, and they will do so, quote, as long
What's up, Two-Wheel Jesus? Good morning.
as it takes to ensure the United States of America achieves its objectives.
By the way, we have over 100 people in here between both streams. Make sure you guys double tap that screen if you're on the vertical side. Hit that like button if you're on the horizontal. Listen, you don't have to like all this craziness that's happening around the world, but you guys can like it for me and what we do here. So thank you for that. We got Jack Telcott in the building. Shout out to my man. Much blessings to you as well, kind sir. We got Kel up there in Canada. Shout out to you. Good morning to you. Great to see you.
Live picture right
Happy
now.
Friday.
We're continuing to monitor some of these pictures early into the morning hours. This is a live picture there in Beirut, in Lebanon, potentially some Iranian proxy groups getting involved right now. Back to what we heard earlier on today. Hegseth said, quote, we set the tempo, we set the timeline, led by the commander on the ground, saying that the fight has only just begun. Let's continue on here on Live Now from Fox. Bring into the conversation former Defense
What's up, Kurt? Good morning.
Defense Department official, prosecutor of counterterrorism, Omar Kadrat. Thank you so much for joining us here on Live Now from Fox. You wrote an op-ed on foxnews.com about this ongoing conflict and some of the wider implications. You said this is, quote, not another regional flare-up. Why do you...
Here, Virginia Chaos, I'll help you out. I'll go ahead and give them some really good propaganda.
Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Donate. Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Donate. Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Donate some freaking...
Shit.
Denied.
Speaking of, we got Brother Glare coming in with the 5 spot. Thank you very much for that, kind sir. He says, I saw an interview with a CIA guy, and he said that Israel told Trump that if he didn't strike Iran, Israel was going to use nukes against Iran. Oh, shit. Well, I very much appreciate the 5 spot and making it rain on YouTube, my man. I very much appreciate it. And good morning to you. Happy Friday.
I feel this conflict is more substantial than that.
Well, first of all, what you're seeing is a decisive military operation that's going to have the type of consequences that could be at minimum decades, if not a century, in terms of setting back anybody who might take leadership in Iran, which is still yet unclear, from being able to...
What's up, Yo Mama's House? Great to see you in the chat.
...to threaten the region and threaten the United States. So this military operation that we're seeing alone, the firepower that the United States is putting in play into Iran and degrading and destroying their core military capabilities, this is decisive in that regard. Secondly, this can't be separated from the effects it's having globally, not just regionally, as it relates to a realignment.
Oh, shit. Let me check on the, yeah, because it's on the other side, and unfortunately I can't see it from the YouTube side, which super sucks. But thank you for the 10 joules, Blackish Cracker. Shit.
Of the global energy order. Now, if you go back to Venezuela, Venezuela now has a more cooperative head of state, and the energy that Venezuela was supplying to adversaries or hostile actors or competitors like China and Russia, they have grown accustomed to...
Got you. I saw that you messaged me on Instagram before I started the show this morning, but I was kind of not running behind, but I had a whole bunch of shit I needed to handle for the campaign shit. So early this morning. So I really didn't get to look at my Instagram like that. I just posted and got ready for the show.
Market oil prices.
I'll check it out though.
They have grown accustomed to taking Iran sanctioned oil and selling it for Iran in these gray markets. And
yeah, he's sending them by 10 by 10s right now. Blackish Cracker, I very much appreciate it, bro.
And they have enjoyed the benefits of that. If you look at Russia, for instance, the energy that's used to fuel this war in Ukraine is going to shift in terms of a calculus for a head of state like Vladimir Putin. So now with Iran, potentially, we'll see who ends up taking charge of Iran. And President Trump said today that he believes that he should have an active role in deciding who that is. But if we get even a little bit of a better relationship.
Well, and that's something that I've got here in 2 stories from now. We have the report right here. Trump says he wants role in picking Iran's next leader. Saw that shit coming.
Bruh.
All right. So anyways, back to this.
Which, God willing, I don't see anything wrong with that. I think it would be absolutely natural, especially for the majority of the Iranian people, to have a head of state that's friendly and part of the international community. What this does is it completely creates a global energy realignment.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting in terms of the realignment. I want to get into Venezuela in just a little bit. You also mentioned in this op-ed talking about the dependency loop, especially around some of that crude oil with Iran, with China notably as well, talking about that. They rely obviously on each other. Then why do so? Why close the Strait of Hormuz that is obviously that energy artery in the region?
Well, Iran right now is under an existential threat. And what we saw today and what we heard from the Central Command Commander, Admiral Cooper, was that the ballistic missile attacks by Iran have decreased by 90%. What we saw in previous days is an Iran that is unsure of its survival in terms of a regime.
Well, we all know that on many different levels, not just a regime, but as a people right now. Let's go ahead and see what update we have here. There's a post that they're about to reference here. Let's see what it is.
Potentially retying those, establishing those ties once more. From the representative from Florida, Carlos Jimenez, saying President Trump has demonstrated unparalleled courage, conviction, confronting evil head-on, whether it's Hamas in the Middle East, Maduro regime in Venezuela, the Castro regime in Cuba, the Ayatollah in Iran. Trump has led decisively while others have faltered.
All right, so let's go ahead and move on from this. Quickly, we're going to revisit the sleeper cell situation over there in Austin. Austin mass shooting, bar to reopen this week after 19 people were shot and 3 people were killed in total of that. Those are the numbers.
All right, welcome back in here to Live Now from Fox. I am Andy Mack. Let's turn our attention right now to Austin, Texas, as Austin police, they're releasing body cam footage from the night of the mass shooting that tragically killed 3 individuals. For more on this, let's go out to our Fox 7 team with this update.
Sunday, the 911 calls came in around 2 a.m.
Go that way and get down. Hello, this is Austin 911. There's been a shooting at,
So now we are forced to hear the fucking 911 calls because, well, they're not going to play the whole thing I see here.
Buford's on 6th Street. There are people dead over here. There have been multiple people shot. We need help right now.
Police arrived in 57 seconds. They say a large SUV was driving multiple times around the block, and the driver started shooting. The suspect is identified as 53-year-old Nadiaga Diagne. Police say then he went westbound on 6th, parked his car on Wood Street, and got out. This video from a parked car shows him walking around with a rifle. Then he shoots at a pedestrian. Then he went back.
No kidding, Blair. No fucking kidding. But our infrastructure for the way that we refine it is not very conducive for the United States. That's one of the major problems with it. We got brother TVT in the chat as well. Great to see you in here. Hopefully you're enjoying your Friday morning so far.
Back to the bar area. Police say he shot in the direction of officers. 3 officers fired at him, killing him.
Everybody down! 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 Down!
And then these people right here that are just to the right, I mean, they get to hear the whole shooting and everything from the cops' standpoint. Look at the people just to the right there. Damn.
Here's body camera footage from a different angle.
Where is it? Who shot? Shots fired! The suspect is down!
What's up, brother Bob, up there in Canada? Shout out to you. Hopefully you're enjoying your Friday morning as well.
Stop moving! Stop moving!
Halo camera footage shows the wide view.
I want to again recognize the bravery of our officers. You saw that firsthand as they ran into danger to stop this. It is quite clear that they saved multiple lives.
The two victims who died on scene are identified by police as 21-year-old Savitha Shawn and 19-year-old Ryder Harrington. 30-year-old George Pedersen was taken off life support on Monday.
I don't think any of us can imagine what these families are going through right now, the suffering that they are dealing with.
Yeah, it's terrible. Let's see if we have any other updates on this. Here is, it looks to be somewhere like in the chamber somewhere. I don't know. Them discussing
on Capitol Hill earlier today.
At Capitol Hill. Here we go.
A marriage to an American citizen.
We're not going to play the whole thing, by the way.
Fast forward to 2012 under Obama, he gets full citizenship, which Obama was handing out like candy.
Yeah, but if it's a single, a single place, it's not going to be enough to be able to process literally fucking millions and millions, if not billions of fucking barrels of oil. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's one refinery is not going to be conducive. We need lots of them.
And then tries to get status, LPR status, for 2 additional women. Allegedly women he was marrying. I don't know whether in succession or at the same time. All I know is he was trying to do that. Fast forward, he was arrested for a hit and run, alleged in 2022.
He did a hit and run? Shit.
And my fundamental question is why are we importing people who are deeply at odds?
I agree with his sentiment right now. We got brother GEG in the chat as well. Good morning.
With the values of our country and Western civilization. Why are we doing that? Why have we done that exponentially in the wake of the attacks of 9/11, 2001? It doesn't make any sense.
It definitely does affect them to an extent, but it actually affects places like not just Iran, but actually Russia. Russia does a lot of their, dealings with Iran in the Middle East and stuff like that. That's Daddy Putin to them, So I would think that Russia would be even kind of a little bit more pissed off than China. But ironically, Russia is like, we're not going to do anything about this.
Sense. This is avoidable. This man didn't need to be in the United States, who does not share our values, clearly was interested in serving his convictions for Iran and radical Islamism more than his commitment to this country, peace, and our rule of law.
All right, just listening in there.
And that was exactly where I was about to cut it too. I was like, all right, that's a perfect spot to cut. Okay, so Trump says he wants role in picking Iran's next leader. Of course, that is not surprising. I totally already assumed that, actually. But let's go ahead and bring this up and we'll discuss it here.
You're watching live now. I'm Austin Westfall. Today, Secretary Pete Hegseth saying U.S. forces are continuing to deliver blows to
What's up, Christopher Collins? Been a minute. Hopefully you're enjoying your Friday morning so far.
Iran's military in the opening week of Operation Epic Fury, crippling key naval and missile capabilities while also signaling that a larger and more sustained campaign is underway. And President Trump says that he wants to be in the loop on the decision to replace Iran's supreme leader. Let's bring in retired Marine Intelligence Officer and host of the Strap podcast, Hal Kempfer. He's on the phone with us tonight. And Hal, the president told Axios that he needs to be personally involved in selecting Iran's next leader. He also called the supreme leader's son.
No, not necessarily. So you've got different grades of oil, crude and what it can be made into. The cleaner the oil, the better that you can process stuff like up to diesel, up to gasoline, jet fuel, ethanol, whatever, all that bullshit, whatever. The heavier shit is kind of actually better for like bunkers and stuff like that, which is basically what ships run off of. It's a type of fuel that we call bunkers. And yeah, they use that black, it almost looks just like crude oil, essentially. You know what I mean? You have to heat it to move it and everything. It's a fucking ordeal, you know? Yeah.
A lightweight who won't be acceptable. From the U.S.'s perspective, what kind of person would actually be acceptable?
Well, you know, that's kind of a question, Austin, that nobody's quite sure. There's been some speculation that that President Trump would accept, for example, somebody from the IRGC.
What's up? We got my man Hardwire. Good morning.
That's obviously a little bit disturbing because they're very ideologically oriented towards being basically pro-regime, in charge of the regime now. But it's really not sure who he'd be interested in seeing be the supreme leader. Obviously, Reza Pahlavi, the son of the former Shah, the deposed Shah, his name has come up quite often. The problem that the president has is there isn't a clear figure that can rise up and take over.
Well, right. And that is actually kind of worrisome because you can't really control the environment if you don't have a person that you want to replace him with.
You know, one of the problems that happened over the years is that when the Iranian regime identifies someone who is kind of becoming prominent in the anti-regime movement, they would arrest them, in some cases execute them, or that person be forced to flee the country. And at that point, they were no longer a threat to the regime, but that leaves kind of a deficit. That's kind of the same problem we have with Russia. You know, if I was to say who would be the logical choice to take over if there was a overthrow of Putin, I'd be stuck because he has basically killed most of the folks.
Damn, I hadn't seen this one of that hangar Putin, or whatever.
I'd be stuck because...
So it's not a hangar. I briefly saw what it was, but it's just a little awning for this truck or whatever. And you can see it coming in right here. This is the whatever strike this is. You can see it incoming like that. Holy shit.
Killed most of the folks that would have taken over.
Damn.
Direct That's hit. Kind of the problem they have there. So there may be somebody that we have in mind. There may be somebody or individuals who we've been talking to or communicating with in some way, but it's just not clear. But he has made it clear. Doesn't really said that he's going to pick the next leader, but he has said he wants to have a say in who that.
No, those are kinetic strikes from fighter jets. But yeah,
will be.
You know, Iran's foreign minister told NBC that they're ready for a ground invasion by American troops and that they're confident that it would be a disaster for the United States.
Yeah, Karth, they're not really going for, killing people necessarily at this moment, but they're essentially going for, yes, the killing of Iranian top officials, yes, that did happen, but for the general public and even for the military, they're just trying to go after like all their air defenses, all their offenses, their drones, their jets, all sorts of shit.
Have we seen any evidence to suggest Iran can truly be ready for a U.S. ground offensive? Given what we know about their military capabilities, Hal, what kind of ground fight do we expect they can actually put up?
Well, first off, I want to say whatever the foreign minister of Iran says, Araghchi, I don't listen to him. He's just, he's a propaganda machine, and he always has been. We don't have a ground force that is arrayed to go against them. I mean, actually, that would probably help them.
Yeah, Bob, actually, I'm going to pull up a map for you here in a second. The United States pipeline map. Let me go ahead and pop it up here while Hal is talking here.
Since they don't really have a Navy or an Air Force to speak of, what's going on right now puts them at a complete, a complete setback. I mean, they're really pushed back. They don't have any advantages, I should say. The only thing they have is a ground force. I think what they would hope, yes, they do have, I think, 1,700 tanks or something, but they're older tanks. They're not very capable, poorly maintained. They have a lot of armored vehicles, a lot of artillery, but this stuff is, a lot of it's in really bad shape, and it's really not a well.
Okay, real quick, let me go ahead and stop sharing this screen. Let me go ahead and move it over to this one just briefly. I'm going to show you the pipeline structure of the United States. Okay, so you've got gas transmission and hazardous liquids. The red is basically like the, you know, we're talking about heavy petroleum shit, whatever. And then the blue is the gas transmission. So this is what the pipelines look like. And I mean, you can see the amount that comes out of Texas and from the Gulf is absolutely unreal. And the pipeline goes all throughout, I mean, multiple pipelines, thousands and thousands of them. But yeah, that's what we're looking at that's as of 2022, by the way, June of 2022. All right, let's go and bring this back up. Sorry about that. That was a little side note.
Well-maintained force at all. What they would hope is if the U.S. came in with ground troops that they could somehow foment a insurrection type movement, a resistance movement, akin to what we ran into with the Taliban in Afghanistan or
What's up, Lindsey Smith? Great to see you in the chat, by the way. Hopefully you're enjoying your Friday morning so
like
far.
the insurgency over in Iraq. That would be what they'd hope, but frankly, we don't have a ground force that's planning on moving in. And as far as I can tell, that's never been part of the planning, that we'll put troops in there. Any boots on the ground stuff look to me like maybe some isolated raids or something like that with special operations forces, but there is no big movement to do so. So when he says that, I'm not quite sure what his...
What's up, Motobomb? My man, how come I didn't see a show from you guys this morning? I missed all of you guys. There was no Sick Bastard, no Coffee Crew. Shit.
Goal is probably the same thing. He's probably thinking I'm going to intimidate the U.S. like intimidating the Gulf states by bombing them. It doesn't really do much for him, and in actuality, it kind of blows back on him.
What's up, SST? Good morning.
For even saying stuff like that.
So I've been taking live looks at Beirut, Lebanon. We've got the live vantage point on our screen right now. Hal is joining us via the phone tonight. But Hal, we've also been asking our viewers to send in questions. Producer Joni here is on our new producer camera.
Shit, what's up? We got Sterling Wheel in the chat, my man. Good morning.
And Jonah, you've been going through these. What are you seeing?
Yes, Austin, I'm very happy to jump on here and try something new at Live Now. Obviously,
oh, you're sick. Fuck, that sucks, dude.
A very busy week for us, but I have a couple questions that are from our viewers. The first one is from John S., all the way in Australia, who is asking, how could the U.S. help assist in regime change and prevent civil war in Iran? That one for you, Hal.
That's a really good question because, well, frankly, as you know, there are reports coming out, and more reports coming out today, that there's a resistance movement, a militia movement that's opposing the regime that's popping up in the Kurdish area. And there's talk about the Azeris. In fact, Iran just bombed Azerbaijan, kind of make a statement to Azerbaijan to say, don't support the separatist movement there, which I thought was interesting. So in that regard, that's kind of I don't know if you want to call it a civil war, but it is kind of a civil war. They're trying to break off, become separate areas, and we're definitely with the Kurds. We seem to be very much behind that. So I don't know if we're going to try and prevent a civil war in that regard. But as far as regime change, the idea right now, and this is part of what we're executing, I should say, is we're going after the IRGC, the Revolutionary Guard Corps, all right, and of course this kind of ideological militia that they have as well.
By the way, we have 187 people in here between the two streams. Make sure if you're on the vertical side, double tap that screen. And if you're on the horizontal, hit that like button. You guys don't have to like all this crazy shit, but you guys can like it for me and what we do here. So thank you. Real quick, we got my man Joseph up there in Canada, our favorite snow Mexican, by the way. Great to see you in the chat. And he says, stop the cap.
Stop the cap.
Great to see you, bro. Great to see you.
And basically, these are a couple things that prop up the regime. So we've been targeting them, trying to cause attrition, trying to destroy their command and control, trying to basically make it impossible for them to repeat what they did in December and January when they went after the protesters and may have killed, some estimates are as high as 30 or 40,000 protesters. We're trying to stop that from being a reality. If they cannot oppose the protests, if the protesters were on the streets, and they could actually, take over government buildings, take over government offices, things like that. The possibility of a regime change simply by being unopposed is a reality. The other side too and we definitely are saying this a lot, is we're trying to encourage all the Iranian forces to lay down their arms, but particularly we would like to see the Artesh, which is the more secular military and certainly the secular police forces, to not weigh in on the side of the regime if this comes about, but to actually side with the Iranian people. If all that came about, that would be a way that it could happen, and we're doing it right now through air power, missiles, things like that.
We did get some video in today.
Hey, real quick, I also have a black leg, so I can be racist too, right? Shit.
Hey, from CENTCOM, this is exactly what they posted, Hal. Let's take this in full. Today, Secretary Hegseth and Admiral Cooper updated the U.S. And updated all of us, I should say, on their naval progress. They said that Operation Epic Fury has sunk more than 30 Iranian ships. It's slashing the Iranians' missile launchers, and they're also shifting toward dismantling Tehran's missile production. CENTCOM posted this today, showing what they say is an Iranian drone carrier ship, roughly the size of a World War II aircraft carrier. So Hal, if you take out a country's naval capabilities, how crippling is that to their military as a whole?
What's up, Brother Dean? My man, good morning. This is the last question we're going to take from Hal, and then we're moving on.
It's not any country.
We got to be talking about the cluster bombs that they're using right now.
It's Iran, and that's very specific. With any country, it depends on which country it is with their naval capabilities. Some countries have very little in any way of naval capabilities. Iran had considerable naval capabilities, relatively speaking, of looking at its neighbors and stuff like that. What this does, though, is it stops them from projecting power, certainly on the seas. Now, there is something that I have not seen yet, and that is the plethora of small boats and these midget submarines that the Revolutionary Guard Corps has in the Strait of Hormuz, and the capability to lay a lot of sea mines in the Strait of Hormuz. Those are a couple capabilities I'd like.
Not only that, but they also have these diesel electric little submarine things that it's pretty actually radical. I have an entire video that explains like all of what the Strait of Hormuz, like all the different strategies they use to, whether it be mines or whatever. And it doesn't even have to be like the Navy coming out and putting out these mines. It can be these small little fishing vessels that hold mines and then they just push them off into the channel. It's fucked up out there. I definitely want to be traveling through that area of the world.
I'd like to hear more about. But as far as the big assets like this, you may recall.
We actually reported on basically Israel fucking up Beirut, Lebanon, and we showed all of that kind of shit already on this morning. So, anyways.
Sometime back when there was the drone wave or whatever over New Jersey and all over the eastern seaboard. And there was a story out there that this drone carrier, Iranian drone carrier, was sitting off the coast and it was launching all these drones. Well, that story was completely untrue, but it did point to the fact that they did have this drone carrier that could do something like this. Now that's gone. And basically, we're just simply eliminating all their Navy, which really curtails their ability to protect any ships.
I literally had that going, the actual song going in my head when I saw that.
That are carrying arms to any of their proxies anywhere, like the Houthis. Also, any ability to move anything themselves directly in that regard. And it leaves the, basically all the waterways around Iran completely exposed. So it can make a big difference, and I think it was a very smart move. I've been looking at Iran.
Assad. What's up, Danny? Great to see you in the chat, bro.
Iran for a lot of years, and every time I looked at it, it's like first thing I'd want to do, or one of the very first things, was take out the Navy, and that's exactly what we did.
I hear producer Jonah has another question standing by. Jonah?
Nope. We're not going into another question. We got Iran fires cluster bombs after U.S. sinks drone ship. Let's go ahead and bring that up. And 3, 2, 1.
Now, I do want to take you to the latest here on Operation Epic Fury, as we're hearing from Iranian state media that Iran has now launched more missiles. All of this, of course, ongoing as we near the 1-week mark of the U.S. and Israel first carrying out this joint operation against Iran that led to the death of Iranian Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. Right now, I want to pop up this live look that we do have. This is over Beirut in Lebanon, as we know that Israel is conducting those strikes not just on Tehran, but also the Iran-backed Hezbollah terror group. We, of course, know that there were evacuations that were carried out yesterday. Israel letting people know if you're in the southern part of Beirut, you needed to leave as this campaign continues to happen. Right now, I do want to bring in Alex Trayman, CEO and Jerusalem Bureau Chief of the Jewish News Syndicate on the ground in Israel. Thank you so much, Alex, as always, for taking the time to be here with us today.
Thanks for having me, Josh.
And first off, I want to start by asking you
straight from Tel Aviv
about the situation on the ground there in Israel. We've talked a lot about the sirens that are sounding. Explain to me what the situation is as all of this is playing out.
Well, there still are ballistic missiles being fired at Israel, although significantly less than in the first 2 days of the war. Now Iran is firing cluster missiles at Israel. These are missiles that break up before, in many cases, before they can be intercepted. And
what's up, Eric? Good morning.
Can send as many as 20 or more sub-munitions down over a much wider area, each one carrying its own payload. It's basically meant to evade Israel's multi-layered missile defense system and inflict damage along a much greater radius, specifically when targeting Israeli civilian population centers.
What's up, Big Bisquick? Shit. Good morning.
One thing I wanted to ask you, I've spoken with several people on the ground there who have essentially said, for the most part, I hate to describe it as business as usual, but that's what they said for folks there on the ground in Israel, because they have become so accustomed to these sirens, not just over the last week, but also really since October 7th. So break down for me if that's kind of the same situation that you're seeing.
Well, Israelis, number one, are extraordinarily resilient people, and we have gotten used to the unusual things that people should not get used to. Israelis have gotten used to. But what I would say is that Israel does benefit from a very sophisticated warning system. The Home Front Command sends out takeover messages on people's phones and via apps signaling that a detection of missiles has been observed, and to get close to a protected area. Then within a few minutes, if the missiles are coming specifically toward a targeted area, then you get a siren or another notification on your app signaling that you must go inside the protected area. But then at the same time, once that occurs, you get
SST. Exactly, that's true.
Another notification from the Home Front Command, usually about 10 to 15 minutes later, indicating that the incident has ended and that all missiles have either been intercepted or have hit the ground, and that it is now safe to exit the bomb shelters. So yes, when that happens, people do try to get on with their lives as much as possible.
What about the idea that, and many people have kind of mentioned this in the past, but homes, businesses, all of them kind of have these safety areas. I don't know if you want to call them bunkers, bomb shelters, but explain that situation there on the ground in Israel, where it seems as though all of these locations are kind of equipped with those.
Well, most newer apartments, I'd say apartments built from the mid-90s forward, have reinforced rooms inside the apartments. They are not a pure protection, from a direct hit. Like if a direct hit of a ballistic missile will hit your protected room, there's very little that the protected room would do. But it does serve as an effective shield against shrapnel and potentially against the smaller cluster munitions. But now,
this choke point you guys can see right here for the Strait of Hormuz. This choke point is vital. It's right there to the Gulf states, and then of course Iran right there.
Not everybody lives in an apartment that has one of those, but there are bomb shelters in most cities. And what that means is that people have to exit their homes and get to the nearest shelter. And it could be a several minute ordeal to get from where you are if there's a siren until you reach the bomb shelter. And it could be that that's not necessarily enough time to get out of harm's way. So for people that don't have that room in their home, even though the bomb shelters might be a little bit stronger than the protected rooms, it's still a bit of an anxiety to move from your position very rapidly to find one of those shelters.
What you're looking at is some of the video that was released just a few hours ago here by CENTCOM in the U.S. that shows them sinking this massive Iranian drone carrier there at sea. And you can see the smoke rising afterward. What is the significance of this overall? Because we're talking a vessel there, according to officials, that was the size essentially of a World War II carrier. Again, the U.S. and Israel carrying out all of this together. This one specifically sank by the U.S.
Well, the United States and Israel have made it known that they hope to eliminate the entirety of the Iranian Navy. The Navy can harm the passage of ships through the Straits of Hormuz. This carrier that you see that was destroyed was sending drones all across the region. You talked before about the missile attacks on Israel, but actually Israel's been targeted not as much as some of the other countries in the region, particularly United Arab Emirates and others have received even many more missile and drone attacks than Israel have in this war. And so when you see the United States targeting the Navy, it's to provide regional stability, not just stability for Israel.
One thing that we've heard from President Trump is that he wants to be involved in choosing the new leader of Iran. That's according to Axios. What does that say to you overall? I imagine that Netanyahu probably also wants some kind of say in that as well. We know there is this kind of partnership.
Oh, you don't think? Shit.
Bruh. Stop the cap. Friendship, relationship, alliance, whatever you want to call it, between Trump and Netanyahu. So does it appear realistic that the two of them could potentially have a say in who is the next leader of Iran?
Oh, I think it absolutely makes sense that the two of them will have a say. Neither one of them want to see an Islamic fundamentalist along the same ideological path as Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei, who was assassinated on Saturday, be the one.
Why is there so much background noise on one of these motherfuckers? Jesus.
To take over. So certainly Mojtaba Khamenei, who is Ali Khamenei's son and was known to be one of his closest advisors, would not be a candidate to take over. There's no reason why the United States and Israel would target Khamenei only to allow his son to take over the country in his place. Both are looking for a reformer, someone who is a moderate that has not just made...
Well, prior to this whole regime that we've seen basically since the 80s. But you got to remember, since before all of that, Iran was actually a kingdom, you know, for like 2,000 plus years. You know what I mean? So like they're used to having a quote unquote Shah. That just means king, by the way, kind of thing. But yeah, it's definitely interesting how the landscape has changed.
Statements that they wish to moderate, but has a long track record of being a moderate force, someone that could be pro-secular, pro-Western, someone along the likes of the ideology of the former Shah of Iran, Mohammad Reza Pahlavi, who was taking Iran on the path of modernization, education, pro-Westernism, and secularism prior to the Islamic Revolution of 1979.
We also heard reports that essentially Iran had chosen a new supreme leader in Khamenei's son. You talked about that a little bit just now, but there's concern there amongst the Iranian regime that if they publicly name him, that the U.S. and Israel will target him and take him out just like they did with his father. Do you believe that that is an accurate representation of what could happen?
Absolutely, that's an accurate assessment.
I was about to say, well, you just kind of nailed it, but
I think that anybody that is connected to this regime is on the target list now for the United States and Israel. That was very apparent in the fact that the very first strike in this war was the strike on Khamenei and his advisors. In fact, I think some were surprised that Moshtaba was not there. There were reports early on that Moshtaba was assassinated. In addition, reports that former President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad was assassinated. So I think that these two are certainly on the target list for.
No kidding. All right, we're moving on. We got Israeli fighter jets destroy the Ayatollah's bunker, actually. So let's go ahead and bring that up. I haven't seen that footage yet, so this is fairly new. This just came out 4 hours ago, so it came out this morning.
We continue to follow some breaking news. This all happening within the past hour here, according to the IDF. They shared this to social media. We're learning Israeli Defense Forces released a video this morning showing strikes on what is said was former Ayatollah Khamenei's underground bunker. In quotes here, one of the Iranian leadership's most important military.
Yeah, actually, that's a good idea, Steve. I will do that on Monday.
Command centers. So this post here from the IDF saying, watch, around 50 Israeli Air Force fighter jets dismantled Ali Khamenei's underground military bunker beneath the Iranian regime's leadership compound in Tehran. Now, this comes after President Trump said just yesterday that the U.S. needs to be involved in deciding who succeeds Iran's late supreme leader. Now, I do want to share this. This is the video that the IDF also shared, accompanied with that social media.
Now, we saw the before and after pictures of his bunker, but not the video of it actually happening.
Post. President Trump's comments came within days of the death of Ali Khamenei, who was killed in a targeted strike on a regime compound in Tehran on February 28th. In a phone interview with Axios, President Trump dismissed speculation that Khamenei's son is a contender for the role and called him a lightweight, before adding, Khamenei's son is unacceptable to me. We want someone who will bring harmony and peace to Iran. President Trump.
Danny, that's because there are two different chats, essentially. There's one for the horizontal side, and then there's another one for the vertical side. So there's two live streams happening at the exact same time on the channel, just so you know.
Trump also warned that he must be involved in the appointment, like with Delcy Rodriguez in Venezuela, who is currently leading the country. We also do know President Trump is scheduled to meet with defense contractors at the White House today. That meeting comes after White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said Wednesday that the U.S. weapons stockpile has, quote...
Yeah, speaking of, by the way, we have 334 people in here. Make sure you guys double tap that screen if you're in the vertical side. If you're on the horizontal, hit that like button. Listen, I know this is a lot of chaos, but you don't have to like it for that reason, but you guys can like it for me and what we do here. Charles, she was all in it in the very beginning of this show, bro. When we very first opened up, she started going crazy in the background. She was playing with her toys, jumping over my head and shit. How did you not see that? Anyways, back to this.
More than enough capability to not only successfully execute Operation Epic Fury, but to go much further. So we wanted to share this here with...
Oh, shit. That was a quick, nice little cutoff. All right, so we're going into our last story for the morning. Hegseth, operation against Iran will... quote, surge dramatically. So let's go ahead and bring that up and we will discuss it. And again, we'll do it one last time because, you know, we've been doing long shows, you know, this week, all this week so far. So we got to embrace Iran's fuck
Don't beat yourself up over past mistakes. You are going to fuck up again in the future, quite possibly in a most spectacular fashion. Why worry about yesterday's fuck ups? Don't you have tomorrow's fuck ups to look forward to? You are a fuck up, and fucking up is part of your growth process. Embrace the process.
Embrace thy process. All right, here we go.
Welcome back here on Live Now from Fox. We are approaching the top of the hour, 5:58 over on the East Coast and 2:58 on
Dean.
the West Coast. My name is Josh Breslow. I'll be here for the next several hours as we cover everything related to Operation Epic Fury. We are now in day 7, and as you take a look there, on the right-hand side of your screen, you can once again see the smoke rising over in Beirut, the capital of Lebanon, as Israel is simultaneously striking.
I really appreciate that, Steve Easy. That is exactly the way that I look at this. What my position in all of this is is to show reasoning, come with a level head and not go to dramatic extremes. When shit goes dramatic, you got to be cool, calm, and collected and actually understand what's happening.
Iran in
So thank
Iran,
you for that.
as well as Beirut over in Lebanon. I want to pop this up on your screen right here because as we are in day 7, we know that the U.S. struck an Iranian drone carrier at sea, and this is some of the video that was released by U.S. Central Command. This was earlier on this morning, and you can see that burning carrier there in the video. Now, it's a converted container ship with about a 600-foot-long runway for drones, and it can travel a very long...
I didn't know it was 600 foot. That's a pretty big fucking nice little airstrip they had on that ship out there. Wow. 600-foot fucking... that's very interesting.
Distance without any need to refuel. The head of U.S. Central Command, Admiral Brad Cooper, describing that carrier as, quote, roughly the size of a World War II aircraft carrier.
Damn. Pretty large.
Already today, Iran has fired missile and drone attacks into Kuwait, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and Bahrain, all countries known to host American military forces. We heard from Secretary of War Pete Hegseth warning that Operation Epic Fury targeting the Islamic Republic is, quote, about to surge dramatically. And we heard some similar comments there from President Trump. Now, a little bit ago, Israel's military revealed that it had started a, quote, broad-scale wave of strikes on Iran's capital of Tehran. And we do have some of that video that's coming in from the IDF. We know that explosions were reported in Kermanshah. That's an area...
Yeah, you know what sucks about the vertical side TVT is for some reason, links do not hyperlink when you put a link in the vertical chat like it does on the horizontal chat where if you put a link, everyone can click it. For some reason, you can't do it on vertical. It sucks.
Iran known to house missile bases. The Israel Defense Forces saying its joint strikes with the U.S. have destroyed most of Iran's air defenses and missile launchers. Israel also continuing strikes on the Iran-backed Hezbollah terror group, as I mentioned, over in Lebanon. And we do have those live images that we are continuing to show you right now as the smoke continues to rise. Right now, I do want to talk a little bit more about where everything stands. So
he's about to bring in somebody who used to be an Israeli ambassador, like right-hand person, like the advisor for the Israeli ambassador or something like that. So
bring
here we
in
go.
Colonel Miri Eisen, senior fellow at the International Institute for Counterterrorism, former senior IDF intelligence officer, and also former Israeli Prime Minister's advisor. Thank you so much for taking the time to...
Man, that sucks, Steve Posey. I know how it feels, too. When I go to chat in my own chat sometimes, it'll block me. Like, my YouTube is blocking my own voice on my own platform. Like, motherfuckers. Yeah, trust me, I get it.
To be here with us today.
I'm always happy to be here and be able to talk to you.
And of course, by the way, we saw that shot change. It looks like it went more toward the Israel, maybe Gaza border there, or Israel-Lebanon. So we're working to get a few shots back out of Beirut, where, again, the smoke is rising. Can you explain for folks out there, as we are at the top of the hour, a lot of people waking up, what the situation is with Hezbollah there in Lebanon and why Israel is kind of simultaneously launching those strikes on Beirut, Lebanon, as well as over in Tehran, Iran?
So, Josh, in the first 2 days of this campaign, Epic Fury, United States and Israel against Iran, Hezbollah, that is a full Islamic regime proxy, sat quietly. And after 2 days, they chose, this was a choice, Hezbollah chose to join in. Hezbollah is made up out of Lebanese Shiites. They sit in Lebanon, very close to the Israeli border.
Not Shiites. 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 Shiites.
Out of Lebanese Shiites. They sit in Lebanon, very close to the Israeli border. We have been in a war with them, certainly from October 7th, and there was a very not strong ceasefire with Hezbollah over the last year because they continue to hold a very large arsenal. All of their arsenal arrives from the Islamic regime. Once Hezbollah chose to join in, Israel went on the offensive against what remains of Hezbollah's capabilities. days. So they're firing drones, they're firing missiles, they're firing ATMs, anti-tank missiles, against Israel. Israel is defending ourselves and now physically attacking all of those different bases inside Lebanon. That includes, of course, the capital in Beirut.
And of course, you have Iran that is now launching missiles and striking different areas, or at least attempting to. We actually had some video that came in a bit earlier of what looked to be a missile strike over there in Israel. And a lot of people know about the aerial defense system that exists, but there are missiles and drones that can get through it, right?
Yes, of course. And we already know all of that. That's something that I don't need you guys to hear after we have already explained that millions of times on this show. Anyways, we got one last update that actually just came out. So I'm going to go ahead and play it. And Trump only deal for Iran is to surrender. So that is his quote there. Let's go ahead and bring it up.
Welcome back to Live Now from Fox.
Why is it so
Before
low?
we head out live to Florida, I did want to share this post here with you on Iran. This is just coming in from President Trump on Truth Social. He says this: there will be no deal with Iran except unconditional surrender. After that, and the selection of a great and acceptable leader, we and many of our wonderful and brave allies and partners will work tirelessly to bring Iran back from the brink of destruction, making it economically bigger, better, and stronger than.
What do you mean by that, TVT? I know what they are. It's just, for some reason, the only problem I have is anytime someone donates on the vertical side with the jewels or whatever they're called, it doesn't give me a notification in StreamYard. And then so people in the chat usually have to tell me, hey, someone's sending you jewels, go check it out. And then I have to go on my phone and look, you know.
Ever before, Iran will have a great future. Make Iran great again. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. So once again, this just coming in here from Truth Social, as we did hear President Trump saying he wants to have a say in who the next leader will be, and that Khamenei's son is an unacceptable pick. So we did just want to bring this to you here on Live Now from Fox. As we transition away from Iran, we are going to continue to monitor all feeds, all information.
And of course, that's what we do here as well. I mean, we monitor everything that's happening and then we report it to you guys. That's my duty. That's my, that's my whole point of what we do here. So listen, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to do our best to, of course, follow all of this throughout the weekend. We're not going to be discussing any of it because, as you guys know, tomorrow morning is members only. We don't discuss anything that is happening like that. We try to actually have a good time and not focus on the fucking craziness of the world. It's somebody in my position. We need it. We need laughs. You know what I mean? So, listen, we're going to be back tomorrow morning for that. And then, of course, we're not going to be doing anything Sunday morning because that's my one day off. So we won't be discussing any more of Iran until basically Monday. So that being said, we're not rating anybody this morning. So you guys will have to figure out where you guys are going to go from here. Much love, honor, respect, everybody. Hopefully you all have a wonderful and safe weekend, and Friday, hopefully you guys all be good out there. God bless everyone. We'll see you guys very soon. Shit.
From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges, a host with a fire burning.